251.
कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि
कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि
फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः
फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः
जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः
जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः
पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम्
पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम्
251.1. The meaning of the words of the shloka. Karmajam, born out of karma. Buddhiyukta, buddhiyuktaha, those with the conviction of equanimity. He, certainly, phalam, fruits, tyaktva, having discarded. Manishinaha, wise men. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha, those released from bondage of birth. Padam, state. Gacchantyanāmayam, that is Gacchanti plus Anamayam. Gacchanti, they reach. Anamayam, where there is no suffering. 251.2. The meaning of the shloka. Having discarded the fruits of karma, the wise men with the conviction of equanimity and released from the bondage of birth certainly reach a state where there is no suffering. 251.3. Bhashya.
कर्मजं फलं त्यक्त्वा इति व्यवहितेन सम्बन्धः इष्टानिष्टदेहप्राप्तिः कर्मजं फलं कर्मभ्यः जातं बुद्धियुक्ताः समत्वबुद्धियुक्ताः हि यस्माद् फलं त्यक्त्वा परित्यज्य मनीषिणः ज्ञानिनः भूत्वा जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः जन्म एव बन्धः जन्मबन्धः तेन विनिर्मुक्ताः जीवन्तः एव जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः सन्तः पदं परमं विष्णोः मोक्षाख्यं गच्छन्ति अनामयं सर्वोपद्रवरहितम् इत्यर्थः। अथवा बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय इत्यारभ्य परमार्थदर्शनलक्षणा एव सर्वतः संप्लुतोदकस्थानीया कर्मयोगज सत्त्वशुद्धिजनिता बुद्धिः दर्शिता साक्षात् सुकृतदुष्कृतप्रहाणादिहेतुत्वश्रवणात्।
Translation. The words phalam tyaktva, discarding the fruits, have to be connected with the word karmajam, born out of karma. The acquisition of desirable and undesirable births is karmajam phalam. The wise men, with the conviction of equanimity, discard that and become jnanis and are released from bondage of birth. Birth itself is the bondage. They thus become janma bandha vinirmuktaha. That is to say, while they are living, they are totally free from the bondage of birth and reach the state of Vishnuhood, also called moksha, a state that is without any suffering. Or another way of interpreting it is that what has been indicated from the sloka containing Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya onwards is the real wisdom, the realization of the ultimate principle coming out of the purity of mind acquired through Karma Yoga. This wisdom is like water spread everywhere in a flood, see 246, because it is stated that this causes the destruction of all the good and bad deeds. It is Sankhya indeed. 251.4. Explanation. What are the results of karma? To say that good deeds beget good and bad deed begets evil is begging the question. Ordinary experience belies that. Very often we find bad after bad befalling very well-meaning people who do not harm others and lead a righteous way of life. The opposite too is not uncommon. If there is a God rewarding good and punishing evil, this cannot be the case. There has to be some other explanation, and that comes in the doctrine of karma. We create our own destiny. It is true to say that good begets good and bad begets evil, but not necessarily in one's lifespan. There being no effect without a cause, we would have created the cause for what we suffer or enjoy now. Therefore, a brief answer to the question is that the result of karma is rebirth. This is what the Acharya means when he says the acquisition of births is karmajam bhalam. We select a body that is suitable to outlive the effects of the deeds we have done. Some bodies may be desirable and some not. See 213.5. 251.5. But those who do their karma with perfect equanimity between success and failure, and with no desire for its fruits, are able to overcome this karmajam bhalam. As we have seen in 254, they are not born again as they have no samskara left. They are free from the bondage of birth. They are called manishinaha, or those who have complete mastery over their mind, as opposed to the ordinary people whose mind controls them. Such complete control coexists with jnana, and therefore they are jnanis. They have reached moksha, the ultimate goal of human birth. The Acharya calls it Vishnuhood. A footnote here. Here the name Vishnu does not refer to God Vishnu in the Trinity. It is the all-pervading principle. The Acharya cites Katha Upanishad 3.9. Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. That is the ultimate state of Vishnu. Bhagavan also refers to this state in Gita 15.6. Yad gatvana nivartande tad dhama paramam mama. That is my supreme abode, reaching which they do not return. There one transcends all limitations caused by the identification with body, mind, intellect, etc. 251.6. That destination is anamayam, or a state with nothing to cause suffering, where it is bliss everlasting. Acharya goes on to emphasize the fact that it is not a state to be wished for after death, but to be realized here in this very life. The result is not invisible, but can be experienced by all who succeeds in uncovering the veil of ignorance. 251.7. So far we have been studying this portion as a text of Karma Yoga. But the Acharya points out that the last 3 verses could also be taken as Sankhya Yoga, as it talks of the ultimate goal. It talks of the end of good and bad deeds, of the attainment of jnana, and of the realization of the self. It is nothing but Sankhya, which is about the realization of the ultimate principle beyond all dualities. See 210H3. There all limitations become irrelevant, and therefore this jnana is compared to a flood. Sarvada Samplutodake of 246. 251.8. Bhashya.
योगानुष्ठानजनित सत्त्वशुद्धिजा बुद्धिः कदा प्राप्यते इत्युच्यते.
Translation. Now it is going to be stated, when one reaches Sankhya, the wisdom that comes out of the purity of mind generated by the observance of yoga.